You are in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for what I will pronounce as Knock Knocka, who says, rant about either Classic Doom, Doom 2016, or the upcoming Doom Eternal. Well, I reject this premise and I'm going to rant about all of them because that's the only way I'll be able to fill a satisfying amount of time. Classic Doom. I had not played it at all growing up. Didn't know anything about it. Eventually, of course, I found out it's like, oh, one of the most important games in gaming history. Revolutionized the genre, created a whole new thing. So I was like, alright, that's pretty ill. And I had it on a Super Nintendo emulator that I got in like 2003 that just had like every fucking Super Nintendo game on it. I only really remember playing like the first level because the game is hard and I did not really understand it that well. So I didn't make it very far on the Super Nintendo, and I had a billion other games I was, discovering for the first time at the same time. Later, Happy Video Game Nerd, now known as Stop Skeletons from Fighting, had done a video about specifically the PlayStation version of Doom, talking about the elements that made it unique, how it eschewed the copyright infringement Metallica soundtrack for like a creepy, like industrial noise kind of, not like the music genre, but just like literally just like creepy noises as the soundtrack, which I've heard that the N64 version also did, but also that it's like basically a different game according to Endless Jess. But yeah, the PS1 version, I ended up deciding to try and play it just because it seemed interesting based on that. I think I made it like 8 levels in before it was too fucking hard. Basically, like, whatever level, you have to fight, like, 3 of the big demon dudes at the same time in, like, an arena. Yeah. I'm not that great at the game. I have not spent the time to master it, so I did not really know what the fuck I was doing, and I was trying. I appreciated, like, the speed and just the mechanical feel of the game, but I did not appreciate getting fucking lost in the labyrinthine levels and just having to run around like an asshole for 10 minutes only to die. Like, that's the worst part, is when you get lost and you can't figure out where to go and you're just meandering around and then you finally unlock the next enemy encounter and it's like a monster closet and 3 big fucking demons come out and they kill you immediately. And you're just like, well, I mean, I guess I can do it faster now that I know where to go, but I don't necessarily know if I won't just get lost again because these levels are, all kind of look the same. So yeah, I have complaints, but I do enjoy the game. I'm just not very good at it. I have, however, played the living shit out of Doom 2016, which was one of my favorite games of all time, probably. One of the most fun first-person shooter games I've ever played. I like first-person shooters, and I want to have fun playing them, but like most of the modern shooter games are slow as shit and boring as fuck. I've always been a big fan of Halo, and Doom gives me kind of like a Halo mixed with Doom vibe. Like, the fact that it's so fast, but it's also tactical. Like, you're thinking about which enemies to kill in which order, and, what weapons you need to be switching between to preserve your ammo between different enemies. The speed of it gets your fucking heart pumping. And when you get into those like big arena battles where it keeps spawning in wave after wave of enemies and you're like trying to manage your ammo across all of that and running around the whole map, never being allowed to sit still. It was super exciting, super pulse pounding. There was some things that infuriated me about it, such as that even though the game like makes a point to be like, this isn't like those modern shooter games, Doom guy just crushes the control panel and doesn't afraid of anything. There are still cutscenes where you just have to stand there and look at a guy while he talks at you for 5 minutes. Like, there's still 2 long-ass, boring fucking walking sections in the game that you have to replay every time you replay those levels. Horse shit. The fact that they included that is a huge slap in the face when they're making such a big deal out of how they don't do that in this game. Because the story and cutscenes are fucking worthless. I don't want to see any of it. Do not give me story in my fucking Doom, But other than that, the game is phenomenal. I love playing it. I I don't think I got 100%. I was working towards it, but it just got boring because the thing is that enemies don't respawn in that game. And so if you're just like scouring a level looking for secrets, you're just kind of running around an empty level. And that's not it really deflates the tension of the game to do that for obvious reasons. So do not recommend. Just play through the game normally. I had a great fucking time. I thought the platforming elements were handled pretty well, though there are some parts where it was fucking a little harder, I think, that it should have been to platform, because you know it's platforming in a first-person shooter. Don't try to make it too challenging. But the fact that you could jump so high and like double jump around arenas made it fucking awesome to just run around enemies and spray fire. I have not watched any of the trailers for Doom Eternal because I do not watch video game trailers. I do not get hyped for games. Pretty much ever since Dark Souls 2, when the trailers looked nothing like the final product, and it was a huge disappointment because, like, Dark Souls is my favorite gaming franchise. FromSoft, you know, my favorite developer. For even them to have put out such a dodgy, dishonest trailer, in the wake of that, I will never trust a trailer again. And there's no reason to. There's literally no reason to get hype about a game when you can just wait for it to come out and read the reviews and watch people talk about it, or watch people play it even, and then come to a conclusion about, you know, whether you think it's going to be worth playing. So, like, I'm just not going to look into it at all, because I would rather just hear it's good and then have the pleasant surprise of playing it and being like, wow, this is fucking just as good as Doom 2016, if not better, which is what I, of course, hope for. But we'll see.